Man, like, I don't know if it does the same thing for you guys, but it always sort of like glitches on me while it's playing for me. But when I watch it back, it's fine. So I don't know. We are going full robot dogs today, guys. Full robot dogs today. So everyone, welcome to Rule Zero. I'm Paul Bauer. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. But most of all, drop comments either in the live chat or down below or after the replay. Also, get some merch. Get some merch below the video. I have official Rule Zero merch now. Get 10% off with code EARLYBIRD for a limited time.
Hell yeah.
All right. Joining me today. Oh, hey, look, Fitch is here. There we go. There we go. Deal. All right. Joining me today, we have the FBI's most wanted Canadian, Ryan Stone. We have, let's see here, robot dog tamer, John Fitch. We've got a guy who I'm 99.9% sure is an embedded undercover Fed, RP Thor.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Some other guys might pop in.
Gentlemen.
That's right. We got to watch what we say here. So what's going on, guys? What's going on?
Nothing much. Just adding to my FBI rap sheet.
As a Canadian, this stuff makes me laugh.
Right. It should.
No, it makes me laugh, but it's also terrifying because you can see what they're doing. They're creating an environment where they can attack anybody they want to. Oh, you tweeted something about Red Pill, or you said something about being based. Well, you're automatically a threat, and it's going to be easier for them to spin a narrative of why you're a bad person and why you need to go to jail and why you're crazy and whatever, and they should take your money. To all the normies out there who still watch CNN and Fox News and they think it's real.
Yep.
One thing that, like, I try not to go into politics too much on my channel, but like one thing that people don't realize about this stuff, right? That a lot of people say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, like why should it matter?
Right? Laughing in 2001 Patriot Act.
Right? They're quite literally, on an average day, your normal person probably breaks 25 laws.
Yeah.
Without even trying, not even realizing it. Like old things are on the books, things that they can find. Stalin used to say, "Show me the man, and I'll show you the crime."
Yeah. It's like if a lot of people don't realize that in the United States, the Bill of Rights were created to limit the government's reach because the government at any given time, if they want to, with their unlimited resources, can build any kind of case against you they want. So the founding fathers were like, "Hey, we got to limit this shit, right? Like we got to be able to." You need a warrant if you want to go rummaging through my house looking for evidence and stuff, right? Yep. But ever since the Patriot Act, we'll get into this. Ever since the Patriot Act, a lot of that stuff went out the window. Like the NSA is gathering information on literally everybody with warrantless wiretaps, and we'll talk about some of that today. We're going full robot dog today.
Oh, I should have brought my tinfoil hat. This is good.
You won't need tinfoil, man.
You don't need
a couple of us here had clearances. I'm just saying.
One thing,
yes, sir.
One thing is interesting about this stuff is like a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory." That's just at some point you got to realize it's not just a theory. Like this, some of this stuff is real. If you look back at like some old documents, like Operation Northwoods and Operation Gladio, like our government's really good at this kind of stuff, this kind of illegal stuff, and now it's totally legal. Like they've made it legal somehow, and
that's actually a big problem in the economy of conspiracies right now. They've all come true. We don't have enough. There's a huge shortage.
Yeah.
That's what it gets annoying is because there's so many of them come true. You've got a lot of other really far-fetched, crazy stuff that people will consider that they normally wouldn't have.
Flat Earth.
It's interesting. Like they were talking about, this was years ago. They were talking about like government turning on their own people, and they're like, "Oh, the government would never do that." And it's like, well, just
look
at what happened to Japanese internment camps. Those were American citizens that they basically rounded up. Look at like what we did to the Native Americans. Like you cannot trust the government.
Look what Canada did to its people recently. Look what Australia did to its people recently.
Yeah, did you guys have internment camps?
They're showing up at people's houses being like, "Hey, we looked at your phone."
We did actually.
and we saw that you were near somebody who was near somebody who was near somebody who had COVID. So you got to come with us and stay in this camp for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't
Absolutely.
last too long, but it lasted a while. That was
It
scary
lasted
as
way
shit.
longer than it should have.
And you don't even have to go into like the crazy stuff. There's some simple stuff too. Like all of us here have a real chance of getting our platforms nuked because of the Patriot Act. It's happened before. It'll happen again.
Yeah. Speaking of
You guys-
which,
Yeah.
oh, I was going to show this article. What
Please.
were you going to say, Ryan?
I was just going to go into details if you were going to leave a gap in the thing, but you're talking, so we're good.
No, go ahead, and then we'll
Oh,
get to the article.
Well, you know how everybody's worried about cancel culture and everybody loses, like they shut down my Stripe, they shut down my PayPal and all that stuff. That's not because companies are woke. That's the fucking Patriot Act and anti-terrorism.
Yes, sir.
The biggest part of the Patriot Act that people don't realize is there was a lot of financial tools that were made so that way they use it to ostensibly stop terrorism. So MasterCard actually had as part of their last shareholders meeting in about, I don't know, the time I'm thinking of is like 2016, the idea that they want to push like their globalism agenda and that they're going to use their financial resources to do that. In other words, that's why Carl Benjamin and a bunch of the pro-Trump Gamergate guys, the nationalist stuff, was getting nuked off of Patreon and nuked off of PayPal. Because MasterCard decided they don't want a national identity. They want an international identity because that's how they build better credit. So it was good for their bottom line. Use the same anti-terror laws to basically weaponize anybody else. Brexit, the American thing there. And all it was a bunch of content creators running their mouth on things. And they were threatening PayPal. They're like, shut this down or we shut down, like, because the American government provides a lot of reach to these guys. And then when MasterCard says you want international payments, well, you got to fly by the rules, and that's where Patreon had to essentially start kicking people out. It's not because they wanted to. It's not because they were woke. It's because MasterCard was going to cut off funding unless they did. And so for every content creator, when you think, oh, it's just conspiracy theories, like maybe, but again, just because the law was meant to stop Omar from flying a plane into Building 7, it doesn't mean that tomorrow there's going to be some global agenda that some corporate policy is going to come through that you're going to be on the other side of. So yeah, even if you didn't do anything wrong, you might do something wrong tomorrow.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a fact. I got a comment on this too. I just took a look, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about, what was just released by the FBI guidelines, and what it actually sets up is a far, far deeper issue that I don't know that everybody's aware of. It's called civil asset forfeiture.
Oh,
And what they
yikes.
do by setting up these words is they put you in a place that, of course, the Patriot Act worked hand in hand with the FISA courts to say your assets or your money may have been used in a radical extremist manner, which could have supported terrorism as defined by almost nothing. And so we can seize these. Your only recourse is you must prove that those assets, and not in front of a jury, but in front of judges, were not used for that manner. And it's almost impossible. I saw the outcomes of this in about 2007. I went to buy a vehicle, and I went to one of these auctions, and there were vehicles, there was toys, there was furniture, there was jewelry, there was all these unimaginable products and assets and things that were valuable that were for sale. And what they were is they were all seized. And they were all seized under civil asset forfeiture. I discovered that when I was looking for the car. And that money was being sold, and 50% went to the local agencies. The reason I bring this up is when they set a precedence to say that Red Pill or that Incel has these extremist guidelines, it opens the door for someone like a Tate that has hundreds of millions of dollars internationally to say it was used in some manner for extremism. And when that happens, all of the NATO countries and even more have treaties and agreements to honor our FISA courts with civil asset seizure. That's what makes it so damning when you make that list.
Yeah, it's crazy. So let me show the article here. This is what we're really sort of basing everything around today. Let me see if I can do this. I suck with StreamYard with this stuff. Here we go. All right, here we go. Yeah, so it was in the New York Post. It's in a bunch of other things. It came out on the 10th. But basically, the Heritage Foundation did a Freedom of Information Act request and got a list of some of these keywords and stuff that the FBI is looking for. And according to, let's see here. Let's see, where was it? Somewhere down here. I'll let you guys look it up. The link's in the description. But somewhere down here, they're saying like the reason why they're doing this is because at least five incels have killed people in the last, several years in the U.S. and Canada.
Isn't that the same amount of trannies that have killed people?
Oh,
Jesus!
you can't. Oh, now we got demonetized. Jesus, you can't say that. You can't.
Transformers, more than HDI. That's what I was.
Again, it's always with these robots.
Robots everywhere. You can't get away from them.
I know. We'll see. Wasn't that true that they're not allowed to release that manifesto because it's too damaging?
Yeah, they won't release the one girl's manifesto because it paints a picture of like how violent these crazy people are. Oh my God, crazy people are violent. Oh wow, maybe we should keep
they have a
telling them they're not
tendency.
crazy.
They have a tendency.
So weird. So basically, like we've already mentioned, right? A lot of this stuff kind of goes back to the original Patriot Act after 9/11. Obviously, if you post something on social media and your account's open, like most of us on Twitter, like the FBI can look through that at any time. There's nothing stopping that, right? But what if you have a private account, stuff like that? What if you're not necessarily posting things online? You're sending text messages to your friends and stuff like that. Have any of you guys ever heard of Operation Stellar Wind?
Yep.
Heard of it, but I don't know details.
Yeah. So this guy William Binney was one of the whistleblowers for that program. It was originally called Trailblazer, I believe. And basically what it did was it's an NSA program, but the NSA can basically they tapped into all of the telephone companies all around the United States, all around the world actually. But the thing that makes it illegal is the NSA is not supposed to be operating in the United States. They're supposed to be spying on people outside the country, but they've been
Snowden stuff.
Right.
Came forward with.
Right. So this was before Snowden though. And so William Binney came out and was like, hey, they're basically like, what they do is they gather data on everybody in different domains, right? All of your bank account information, all of your online social media information, all of your
collect
emails.
Everything. They're data mining every piece of information they can about you, and they store it in some facility.
Right. And then what they can do if they get their eyes on you, like say Andrew Tate, for instance, right? They can take all that information about Andrew Tate, turn it into the third dimension, draw a line between all the different domains, and basically pull out a history of everything in your life and everything about you and everyone you know and everything you've ever done, everything you've ever bought. Like they know everything about you, and this is all just them randomly collecting data. And they've been doing that since at least 9/11. So here, I'm going to play.
They can go back and retroactively create a crime.
They can
through that back information that you've done.
Yep. Yep. So I'm going to play a little clip from William Binney here real quick, and we can comment about this.
A lot of these programs inside NSA. I know exactly what they do. I know how they organized it, and I know what they did to it to make it into a bulk acquisition, bulk spying program on everybody in the planet. They initially started with the U.S. persons, and that's why I left so quickly. In fact, it took me 2.5 weeks to get out of NSA once I found out they were spying on U.S. citizens in bulk. This is not just metadata. This is not what they're pulling in content to. It's being done under Executive Order 12333, Section 2.3c.
I hope you guys wrote that all down.
That's where they can take in all their content and maintain it and store it and search it, even without a warrant, on a massive scale, and just call it coincidental collection because they're after that one dope dealer or whatever it is that's on the fiber somewhere. But they can take in everything on the fiber and call it coincidental. And that's the justification they've been using. They started this bulk acquisition early on as a way of getting more and more money. That's been their justification from the beginning. It's been a financial one that builds their empires, builds massive contracting organizations and massive contracts. I mean, we're talking tens of billions of dollars every year. I mean, the budget for intelligence within the United States is on the order of $100 billion a year. That's for 16 agencies, and they're not audited on how they spend the money, by the way. There is no real oversight. And Congress is simply a puppet for NSA and the intelligence community. They do exactly what they say. In fact, they advocate spying on U.S. citizens. I mean, they were created originally out of the Church Committee investigations in the 1970s because they were spying at that time on U.S. citizens. And that was a result of, that was after Nixon was impeached for that particular act. That was part of the charges that he had to face under impeachment.
Paul?
What's that?
When did this take place?
When did this video
This
take place?
hearing right here when he came forward and spilled the beans.
This particular, he's been spilling the beans since 2001, I think. So
Okay.
this particular video is from 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
Trump
it's
didn't
like-
stop it?
There's how so like 20 years of this guy being like, hey guys, they're spying on you, and then Snowden and the torture program guy and the other army guy who did the spilled the beans on the shooting.
You're talking about the WikiLeaks one?
reporters. Yeah, the WikiLeaks.
Yeah, Assange.
All of that stuff has happened, and you still had the idea that the COVID stuff happened. Like, all this information's out there. It's been out there for a long time. How much they're spying on us?
People's attention spans are so short.
Yeah, they're so short, and they're focused on just the stupidest stuff. What kind of belt you got? Oh, you got a Louis belt? Like, they care more about that than their tax money. Like, 40 to 50% of the money that you slave away to earn is stolen from you and used against you. Like, it's used to go to war and kill people in other places that you don't know, and it's used to spy on you and criminalize you. And people are just, oh, whatever, man. At least I got my Gucci belt or bag or whatever the crap.
It's funny when
Let's stay plugged into the matrix, brother.
yeah. It's funny. So everyone, we talked about the Prism leak already, right? Like, Prism happened. That leak happened in 2013, I believe.
Jeez, that long ago.
Yeah. And so what happened with that was, it's funny, people call Snowden a hacker. He wasn't really hacking. He had access to a SharePoint
He just
site.
took it.
Yeah. And he's like, he saw all this stuff and he's like, oh, let me just take all this stuff and give it to the Guardian newspaper, right? Like, and so then he went on the run because the government's like, oh crap, like, he's spilling the beans
They
on
didn't even
everybody.
release all the stuff that he pulled.
Yeah. And that dude
Greenwald
had to run to Russia. Now he's a Russian citizen now.
Yep.
Like, imagine like being so scared of your government that you run to Russia. Like, that's your option. Like, you have to defect, right? So bad. But yeah, I mean, like,
Russia's looking
but
pretty
this,
good right now.
the thing about Prism, it sort of piggybacks onto what they were doing with Trailblazer and Stellar Winds. So that was basically collecting raw packets off the wire, right? That's what Stellar Winds did. What Prism showed us was that the NSA had direct server access to all the Silicon Valley, like, big companies, right? They have direct server access to your Gmail, to Hotmail, to Facebook, to all that stuff. So even if, like, let's say you're posting stuff on Facebook and your account's private, they have direct backdoor access.
Oh,
to
the
that,
Twitter
to that
leaks that just
information.
happened recently. They were going through all of our direct messages.
Oh yeah, that got swept under the rug too, because Elon Musk was posting that stuff on Twitter, and like none of the major news was covering it. The news, right? What constitutes the news these days? Nobody was covering it.
The approved narrative. That's what it is.
Yeah, and some things that they were doing too is people would post things, and the government would reach out and say, "We want that tweet taken down. We want that." Like, they didn't want certain people saying certain things. It wasn't like they were being investigated, but they were getting their accounts banned at the request of the government.
Dude, you guys want to laugh at this though?
Yeah.
Canada was trying the same thing. We kept like reaching out the government because of like anti-Trudeau stuff, and all the American companies just told them to go pound sand. So I thought it was hilarious. We're like cheerleading you guys doing this whole authoritarian thing, and they're like, "Get out of here, you kid!" It's like your little brother when he's cheering on his buddies playing games, and they kick you out of the room anyway. I don't know.
So America's cool with like our government doing it, but if we don't want Canada doing it to its people, that's bad, right?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I think it was more so like, "Fuck you."
Wasn't there kind of
Come up with your own global spy network? Like,
Isn't there kind of a kerfuffle right now in Canada on the media because?
Well, that's mostly because China has been buying a bunch of politicians, and we're having a big ruckus over that Trudeau was warned and the laws have been ready for 7 years and he just basically ignored it. Yeah. But that's more so about spies.
Yeah, and then with the Elon thing is he started posting all of these PBS and Canadian broadcasting system that they're 69% government funded.
Oh,
He said
yeah.
said they were government funded, so he's trying to put down which of these outlets are actually funded by the government, and they got upset because he said they were funded by the government. Says we're only
Well, they weren't mad that he was
only
wrong.
69%.
Yeah, they were mad because it hurt their. It was like your ex-wife. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not mad that you're wrong. I'm mad about your tone. Like, shut up.
A lot of this, you guys have to understand too, is that a lot of these big tech companies, they're in bed with the government. Like
Sure.
the DoD runs them, the FBI like runs and works with them.
They
Twitter,
do, and they fund
Facebook,
them through
Google.
foundations.
They're government assets. They're not like independent companies at all.
And you can see the collapse of BuzzFeed News exactly because of that. Look at the venture capitals, and if you go into it, there's actually foundations that funded them and kept them alive. They were not profitable ever. This was always funding, and now they're collapsing because of it. This is sneaky stuff because China's been doing this for 35 years. They started out with the 1,000 Talents program, and you might have heard of the Confucius Institute, where they started funding projects and professors in academia big time, like up to the tune of nearly 20% of all of them nationwide.
We've been in World War III for 40 years.
Third gen, what was that? Fourth gen warfare?
Yeah, because we've been under attack from China for a long time. Like all the stuff popping up with the processing food plants burning down, the rail cars getting in wrecks. Like that's people crossing the border and causing disturbances.
Wasn't all fentanyl coming in from China as well?
Yeah, there's fentanyl too. They're trying to get back at the West for
the opium wars.
Opium, yeah, for the opium addictions and stuff.
Speaking of,
I think it's definitely bigger than that. They want to hurt us for sure.
Speaking of funding, let's we got a couple of super chats here. We are largely funded by guys like you out there because stuff like this. So we got Nonstop Dre. Hold on one second. You get this, buddy. Hold on. You get Who's the master? $2 super chat. Only in Canada, KYS is hate speech and medical advice. What's KYS?
To self-delete.
Oh, okay.
Son of a bitch. I hate it when he's not wrong. It's just his tone.
It's just tone. Wandering Warrior with a $5 super chat. You get this.
I was just going to say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
Spent 14 years in the CI community. The federal Leo and Intel alphabet soup agencies are not your friends. Yuri Benzimov warned us. Oh, is that the guy who said that the Russians were basically going to supplant us after several generations or something like that?
Yeah, the long march to the institutions bit.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, good stuff, guys. All right, so anyway, we showed William Binney. He's talked about how the NSA collects all your stuff. We talked about how Edward Snowden leaked the PRISM leaks, and that's also an NSA thing. So you might be saying, well, that's NSA. How does that tie into the FBI, Paul? Funny thing is, an article came out in 2016. Let me show this one here. And present and share screen and this one. This article came out in 2016 that basically says, if we go down here somewhere, let's see here. FBI is allowed direct access to NSA's massive collections on international emails, texts, phones, calls, which often includes Americans on one end of the conversation. So the FBI has direct access to all the data mining that the NSA is doing. They're sharing. Sharing is caring, guys.
Yes, it is.
It's a delivery, Paul. I'm not like chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
You like that?
I want to say this is sponsored by viewers like you and the number 3. It's awesome. It's awesome.
So I want some audience participation here, okay? We're going to go through this list. I want some of your guys' takes on some of these words, because actually I found the FBI document and what all the words that are in the watch list. And if you guys want to join in today and get on the government watch list with us, we're going to go through these, sound off in the live chat with the word. Just comment the word in the live chat. Let's have some fun with this.
and open yourself up to future civil asset forfeiture.
Oh, I hope no N-bombs are in there.
Uh, No, actually, these are pretty common things that we say on a regular basis.
Oh, good.
Like
on
word
Rule
the.
Zero. Actually, let's see here. Is the name of the PDF file is basedfbi.pdf.
Based.
Oh, let's see. Can we zoom in on this? Let's see. Here we go. So the first one here is Amazing Hero, Going ER, or Supreme Gentleman. Are you familiar?
Oh,
Are you guys familiar with any of those?
I'm familiar with Supreme Gentleman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to give the audience a minute first, or do we want to spoil it?
Yeah, give the audience. So someone in the live, if you know what Supreme Gentleman or Amazing Hero, it looks like it's.
Oh, and Hero. Dude, this is so old school. Oh, this is awesome. All right, let me know when you're ready.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, and Hero is a 4chan green text post about some guy. I can't remember what it was exactly, but the guy was doing something, and they told him to be a hero, an hero, and it's referencing KYS, self-deleting. The Supreme Gentleman was Elliot Rodger. That's what he used to call himself on his YouTube videos before he went on that stabathon. The
Got it. Yeah.
the Roman McClay before Roman McClay was Elliot Rodger.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we are.
That's funny.
That's what it says here. Okay, the next one is Ascension. Ascension. Have you guys heard of that one?
I know what it's from, but I haven't heard of it. I know that was like a reference to the Blade Runner when he had to do all the terms to prove he wasn't emotional. I think Ascension was one of those. I bet you that's where they stole it from.
Well, it says here in the description, a term used to describe an incel leaving incel status by gaining sexual or romantic attention. Basically, an incel that
Oh, got laid.
finally got laid. He ascended, guys.
Don't care, got laid. That's funny.
Coon enlightenment.
Comment
Coon
word
enlightenment.
ascension in the live chat, guys. We're going to get on the watch list today. The next one is just cell, right? Like dash cell, right? Obviously, that's like a suffix for incel, right?
It's like Linux or
Gym
Unix.
cell,
You gotta nix it.
I'm familiar with the gym cell.
Look at this. Someone
terminology.
says trial of ascension.
Hey.
Terrible. All
My
right,
band.
we got Chad Preet, Chang, or Tyrone. I've never heard of Chang. Is that like Chad?
That's old school. Yeah.
My sons
Holy
are changed.
jeez.
There's a few more too.
We always talk
Different
about Chad
nationalities.
Thundercock, don't we?
We do.
Chad Thundercock or Chads. That's funny.
Yeah. we never go with Leonard Limp Dick. That one just never works. Yeah.
That's not on the list. It's
No,
not on the list.
you're
No,
safe.
we're good. You're safe with Leonard Limpick. Yeah, there we go. Chang is meant to be Asian Chad.
Yep.
All right. We got let's see here. We got femoid, foid, or roasty.
Oh,
Femoid.
Is that
Yeah,
old
yeah,
school?
that's Wojak, man. That's some Wojak shit.
What's
You know the face that they always have of the guy, like there's troll face or like that feels man, like
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like that weird MS Paint figure
yeah.
and the NPC meme. Yeah, those are all Wojaks, and that's where that kind of came
Jack.
from.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's his, now you know his name.
Okay. So yeah, like the Forever Alone guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and the NPC they're all Wojaks.
Okay. It says
I feel like I'm like introducing you to the levels of 4chan icebergs. We're like at the top right now.
You
The
actually-
FBI hasn't even gotten past the surface.
you actually are, Ryan. I appreciate that. So those femoid, foid, or roasty are terms used to dehumanize females, guys. Dehumanize-
Roasty. Mm-hmm.
A roasty. I've never heard of that before, but that's funny. All right. So
Yeah.
just be first, JBF. Anybody?
That one's new to me.
All right. A
Where's
phrase
the Zoomers in chat? Get in here.
Come on, guys. Yeah.
Teach us millennials and Gen Xers and are you
wonder
still
if
Gen
most-
X Thor or are you boomer technically?
I'm a boomer, technically, yes. So
Damn.
I guess roasty would mean from, you guys heard the term spit roast. So there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
roast
was
beef,
thinking
all
too.
that.
Instead of 304, it's a roasty.
The rotisserie. Put her on the rotisserie.
Just be first. That's interesting. I don't know what that's all about.
Yes, that one says a phrase used to describe the targeting of minors for sexual advances in order to be
Minors.
their first sexual experience before the perceived corruption by society.
You know,
That's
I'm on board
terrible.
with that one being on a watch list.
Yeah, that should be on the watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
that. Let's good one, FBI. That's a
We'll give
good
that
one.
one a green
1 for
highlight.
7.
Well, you know they're not going to take that one serious because we still haven't seen a client list or an arrest over the Maxwell and.
Oh, he went there.
Yeah.
But hey, you talk about red pill stuff and being based. Oh,
being
you're
fair,
on a
right?
watch list.
Yeah. Let's see here.
We'll
This is my favorite episode ever, man. I love this thing.
I just it's funny to go through all these. There's actually not that many on here. It's just we're sort of like, slowing down with these, but it's let's see. So just be first. It's over a comment which describes the hopelessness of being an incel. The typical response to this comment is, "It never began." Look, it never began
doomer.
for you. Eldar, acronym for lie down and rot.
What?
That
Yeah, I have seen that one.
It sounds like somebody's shooting for a promotion and just throwing shit in there. Like, that's fucking enough.
Yeah.
they're just hanging out in like Black Pill, MGTOW like forums and stuff going, God, like this.
You think maybe an AI?
Well, he's offering to give guys some weapons to go to school. Here.
Either that or an AI created the list for the FBI.
There you go.
Dude,
ChatGPT
ChatGPT
just like,
the list.
give me a list of acronyms used by the Black Pill community.
Yeah,
That would be funny as hell.
I know.
we
We find out later that's what they did.
I just did a live stream yesterday on I asked ChatGPT to give me 30 top reasons why women have sex based
That was a
on
good
a book.
episode, dude.
Yeah. That
Oh,
was actually-
yeah.
Dude, that was fun.
That was
a
fun.
episode. We have looks matching and looks maxing. I've never.
Yeah.
Everybody's familiar with looks maxing, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
But
they tried to
that's just a
describe
weird
marrying.
thing to like have to
Yeah.
put on a watch list.
Yeah, that is a
It's
weird.
like you're trying to look your best. Oh,
I'm
Two
watching
X's,
that
though,
guy.
man.
Yeah,
Watch that guy.
I'm going with Chat GPT made this.
Looks matching, though, a term used to describe the matching of the attractiveness level of both romantic partners, which incels see as a solution to the perceived problem of unattractive men having no potential partners. Looks
So be attractive or aim low.
Yeah.
Wait, did they just weaponize the slump buster list and make it sound awkward? Jesus.
Yeah,
They're like, look like the girl you want to be, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
The whole thing is weird.
It is weird. MGTOW, obviously.
sounds like
you
a-
know.
Have
That should
fun
be on
going
the
your
list.
own way with the FBI, nerds.
Yeah. You're going your way right to jail. You know, just kidding. We have NEET, N-E-E-T.
Oh, yeah.
Not,
You know that
see-
one, though, right?
not
I
in
could see
education,
how,
employment, or training.
I could see how the government would really see MGTOW as a threat, though, because
absolutely.
a lot of that is like just give up, man, just unplug. Like, don't work hard, don't have a job, like don't try at life because it's not worth it. Just unplug.
The only
and do your
illegal
own
tax
thing.
avoidance strategy out there.
And if-
Just sit at
if,
home.
Yeah, if all the guys do that, if a large, huge, like we have 70 million men who are working age and aren't even trying to look for jobs.
Correct.
Wait,
like
that
that-
many?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
crazy numbers.
That's like a third of your population. That's crazy.
They don't count. They
I'm
don't
kinda
count
in
them
that
because they're
category
not
too.
looking. Yeah, they're not looking for employment like you would think to enter the workforce. So if they don't actively, if they're not actively looking for work, they are not counted by the government statistics and the gatherers in the census.
Huh.
It's a lot higher. People just aren't really working. They're getting a lot of free stuff from the government. So
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff happened after COVID, right? And the government started implementing all these programs.
it got a lot worse, or at least
Yeah,
they
it
started
was started
talking
before.
about it. They started talking about it. I think it was happening already, but
Yeah.
it became more prevalent at that time period.
Yeah.
But that's a huge problem for the government. Like they can't get soldiers, they can't get people to fix their power lines.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
how are they?
But
How
that-
are they going to be a world power if nobody's going to work it? And they're just like, screw you. There's nothing in it for me.
Mercenaries, man. Historically, it's great to have a mercenary army, just as the Romans.
Yep.
Now
now,
a large portion of our army is mercenaries.
So I actually pulled down the reports on that, and I was looking at it, and there were questions asked. and just you can extrapolate. There's actually a fix for it. Guys that get married are 7 times more likely to become employed.
Is that why? That's why they're
and
trying to
12
like
times more-
kill off marriage in the West, right?
They're 12 times more likely to have employment and actually get into the upper middle class if they have children.
All right, so let me ask you this, Thor. Is that because guys want a wife they go to work, or because they want to get away from their wife they go to work?
That's
Yes.
a good one. We'll have to do a whole separate episode there, brother.
That's funny.
Hey, whatever works, right, Ryan? Whatever works.
Get him that job, sir.
Whatever works.
All right. So we got normie blue pill, right? That's
Yeah.
normal people. Those are pretty obvious. We have red pill. Guys, comment red pill. Red pill or black pill. We all know what that means. We have rope, a reference to self-deletion, right?
Yikes.
We have Stacy. Can't say Stacy.
Jeez.
You know what's really
That's
interesting?
kind of reading the definition for the red pill, black pill. That's kind of weird that they put those two together.
Where's Karen on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, red pill refers to a belief shared by many online communities that society is corrupt and that the believer is a victim of this corruption. No, it's not.
What?
Exactly.
Black pill, which is specific to incels, refers to a belief that this corruption can only be changed through massive societal restructuring, often including violence. No, it's not.
I was gonna say, I think that's what bread tubers are bitching about, isn't it? The old online commies that dad was rich and fuck you, dad.
Yeah.
Vouch and Hassan and Destiny and all those goofballs.
I do have a serious
Marx
concern
himself.
because even in my own family, there's people named Chad and Stacy. So what do they do about these people that all of their writings are actually under the subject of these guidelines now? Interesting thing about these guidelines, now that they've been formed by committee, they can be expanded at will.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah.
So then the next page here is about books, right? Books that are on the watch list. Ryan, do you think Fuck Files is on the watch list?
Dude, I know it's not, but I would so love that. I would love to be. Imagine that on the burn book list.
Dude, you
People will be talking 20, 30 years from now about how they snuck your book in through like a sewer grate. It'd be fucking cool.
It
FBI,
would be.
what are you doing with Praxeology Volume 1? Come on.
Let's help.
Yeah, come on, feds. Give me a good old canceling, sir.
No, look at these books. You have Mein Kampf, right? The Siege by James Mason. You got they're all white supremacist stuff. Are we white supremacists? Ryan, you've got too much melanin to be a white supremacist.
Yeah, I'm 80% white supremacist. I've heard people did read Mein Kampf just for the surprise, and they're like, aside from like the moral side of this thing, apparently it's a shitty written book and it's a slog to get through too. So how funny is that?
I can't read German, man. I don't.
We're gonna put Turner Diaries in there too. That obvious. Here they go. This is why they want to drive it racist. That's the next big thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if you just label everybody you don't like as racist, then
That's the way to do it.
You're
Don't need any
dehumanizing
evidence.
people.
No evidence necessary.
So then the next page comes to even more words. Okay, so we have 1488. Anybody? Or 14 and 88 individually? Anybody? Nobody? Okay.
I know
we
it's
have-
something to do with the same thing. I just don't know exactly what the number was about.
Yeah, 14 words coined by deceased RMBE David Lane. What's RMBE?
Hate symbolology or something, right?
I don't know. It's stupid. We have accelerationism.
Hey, did the Turner Diaries make it?
Yeah. It's right here.
Dude, do you know in Canada Post is legally like obliged to remove that if you're being sent to your house and they find out? They're
Really?
not even allowed to ship it to you. It's like legally required. They have to confiscate it.
Wow. What's that? It's a novel describing
It's
a
fiction.
fictional subversive U.S.-based RMBE organization.
Yeah, but I guess apparently it's racist. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fiction over a civil war based on race. Funny that. It was written
Yeah.
40 years ago?
Something like 78 here it says. I'm curious though, is it any good? That's the one thing nobody ever you know what I mean? Like, is it a good book? Nobody ever asked these questions.
I bet you can find a PDF out there that they can't confiscate.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of
my anarchist cookbook days are over, sir. I wouldn't download a car anymore. I'm just saying.
No, but you can print a lower for your AR-15 with a.
Oh yeah.
So we got based, right? We got
Based.
based, guys. It says RMVEs use the term to refer to someone who has been converted to racist ideology or as a
they're
way
gonna
of indicating ideological agreement.
Wait. I'm hearing this in the Black Manosphere a lot too, though, in reference to themselves. They're based.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making it their word
It's
now.
it's supposed to be based in reality. You're based in
that's what it's
reality. You
supposed to
see the
be,
world
based
for
in
what
reality.
it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
It's
where
anti-woke.
Okay.
Anti-woke. It's based.
Right.
You believe in
The opposite
that
of
men
woke.
are men and women are women.
Okay.
Exactly.
What? You can't say that, John. God. Get
I
deep.
know.
We're gonna
That's
get
why I'm a
demonetized.
terrorist.
That's why you're on the watch list.
That's why
Well,
I'm
soft
on-
are women, not hard are women. All right, that joke
Well, just look
felt a bit deaf. That's fine. I tried. They can't all be bangers.
We need to
All right.
come up with a course called Terrorist Game. Girls
Jeez.
like bad boys.
Yeah, they do. So we have I'm going to skip some of these because they're stupid. We got LARPing. I've heard that mentioned on Rule Zero before, right? Like guys
live
that are,
action role playing is now okay.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
but the guys that are online like talk about game and getting women, but they're not doing it, right? They're just like reading all the books and regurgitating the material.
Yep.
They're not actually going out and practicing. They're LARPing, right? But that's not what it says here.
What does it say?
It's racist. It's racist.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, everything's racist.
Yeah, and then red pill's on here again. And that was in context of RMVE ideology. Taking the red pill or becoming red pilled indicates the adoption of racist, anti-Semitic, or fascist beliefs.
Well, we talked about this a few months ago. This is part of the dog pile for sure. Red pill's going to get dog piled on.
That's the
A
list,
lot of it
guys.
has to do with Tate's rise of popularity too. This ruffles a lot of
Yeah,
political.
Brian, why are you so angry at Tate? Oh, I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe because I want to be on a fucking watch list. Assholes.
Yeah.
Is it just me or is Ryan's audio a little wacky right now?
Is it low? That's fine. I'll get right in here.
No, it's
Fucking
just, like,
Tate.
kinda-
Make me look bad.
Oh, Skippy. Yeah.
kind of skipping.
Oh,
and
is it
stuff.
Skippy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a chord.
All right, let me look.
Stupid chords or whatever.
I get that too.
So yeah, that's the list. John, you're the you do a lot of conspiracy stuff like that. Like, what's some of your takes on this?
It's control measures. You know, it's a dying
Empire.
not dynasty. I don't know, dynasty. The American empire.
Mhm.
It's dying. It's losing control. People, you know, they intended to release the internet to the world. It was given to the world so that the U.S. could spy on people better. That's my firm belief that was why they made it public and they made it useful and able for anybody to connect to and use. It makes it easier for them to spy on people. But what they didn't expect is people communicating together. We share things behind the closed doors of the internet, and we talk about what's really happening, so that their narrative, you know, you don't get the news from one source anymore. A long time ago, like I grew up, we called it the Farmer 5. We had 5 channels. We had 5 channels to pick from. I did no on-demand stuff. You just watch what was on. I've watched every episode of Little House on the Prairie 15 times. I hate that shit.
Dude.
But there was nothing else on. There was
Dukes of
nothing else
Hazzard and
on.
Knight Rider. That's
Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, watched them all. But you man, you get these guys now, we can communicate and talk freely about how bad the government's screwing us over. We can communicate with people in another country and realize, hey man, these people are all right. Their people are cool. Like, why are we bombing them? Makes no sense.
Yeah.
And the empire's losing control. It's losing power. And as it loses power, it's not going to give it up easily. It's going to fight violently to maintain it. So you're going to see more crazy stuff. I mean, them indicting Trump is pretty crazy. You know, like there's been other people run for president and other politicians who've done far worse than him and not had any charges put against them.
the Clintons
But
ha-
you're gonna
literally
see
have a
this-
kill list.
You're gonna see this criminalization of a lot of things because they're losing power and they have to like scare people more into giving up more power. I think the whole COVID thing was a big part of that. oh, this is our last chance. This is how we're going to lock everybody down. We're going to put everybody in 15-minute cities. We're going to lock them down. They have to have their phone and their digital passport through everything. They're already talking about pushing through the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. Once that comes through, it's over. Like we're in bad shape. If they can control all of the money digitally in that sense, they don't have to even spend the money to print it. They just have to hit a button and add zeros, and they got more money, devaluing the money that you have. They're going to be able to track everything because they're going to have everybody on electric cars, everybody electric everything. You're not going to be able to get gas, right? Even propane, they're going to try to limit that eventually. And they're going to be able to track everything you do. The smart meters they put in your house, they're there so they can track all the energy that you're using, all the gas and fuel that you're using. And then if you say something wrong, if you do something wrong, they'll shut you down. And
so the meters are worse than that, John.
if it's
Actually
central
work
bank
for a large
currency,
utility
they
is
can,
far worse.
hey, you've driven too much this month. We're cutting your ability to charge your car. We're cutting your money. We're taking your money away from you. We think you pay us more taxes because you said something racist. Whatever. Like they're going to have complete control over all of that stuff.
Yeah, and those smart meters are far worse than you think. In the terms that across the nation, they're installed by utilities and municipalities, and there's two entities that are involved in those smart meters. I know because I've worked on the inside, and there is a operator and an owner, and the operators use your utility. The owner is the Department of Energy, and they had a set of requirements to put subcarrier modulation frequencies on your power lines that have the capability of communicating with appliances in both audio, video, and data transmission.
Dude,
And
that's like right up there with how printers used to have that little like pattern they'd print on every document so they could track it to the printer.
This is interesting. They put that in microwaves on top of the electricity in your house, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, it was when you hear somebody with a tinfoil hat says, "Well, my light bulb's listening to me." That is not that far out. That capability actually exists, and it can be transmitted. And even the operator can be unaware of it because the Department of Energy is the owner, and they have ultimate control over it through those systems. Sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? And I don't know how far it's been implemented, but that is the fact of smart meters, all in the name of keeping you safe and keeping the climate in order.
You want to know a funny thing on the tech of this? When you work in a top secret classified environment, you're actually put on what they call red power. And it's technically like, because for ships you had to do it because if you get plugged into the shore power, there's technically a way you can pull data from I think it's from the CPU, from the power source. There was like this technology where people were showing how you could use the grid as like Ethernet. There was some interference issues in that, but yeah, needless to say, you can actually use the internet or the data transmission from the home power grid.
That is exactly what that subcarrier modulation for data transmission on top of electricity is. It's Ethernet over power lines.
This stuff's been out for like 20 years. They trained us on how this stuff exists, and it's maybe not like it's not as good as what we have for transmitting on the internet, but it sounds like for your needs, they don't need it to be that good.
It is now.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting because it's all, for your safety, for climate.
Oh, thank God it's for our safety.
I know that John talks a lot about this, but there are actually, these committees and groups that do social planning and social engineering at the highest levels, and they get invited in when they're enough known. And I don't know if you know, but the majority of them are real big into Malthusian theory. There's too many people. And, our economy would be fine if we just met the 2.5 births per woman that we had before. We are collapsing at this point. That's where
it's dangerous. It's dangerous to the people at the top, the people in power, to have the internet and so many people, because an idiot can figure out a way to rig the game and make a ton of money and become a player. And they don't like that. It threatens their power. Too many people out there have too much ability to make a lot of money because of population size and the easy access to people through the internet. Well, that has to be limited. You have to have less people. You need to have less bursts. You need to have more robots, more things you can shut off when you don't need them. What's his name? The Klaus, whatever.
Klaus Schwab.
Schwab. He wrote a book. He called us useless eaters in the book.
That is Malthusian theory right there.
Yep.
And these folks definitely have the power, and they're going to make you feel good about it. They even announced it. You won't have anything, but you'll be happy because they're going to supply it for you. Now,
we're
if
going to
you
give you the
notice,
drugs, we're going to give you the bugs to eat. We're going to give you a nice comfy pod to live in.
If you look at any of these writings, they're very open about it. They have lowered IQ across the population in the last 40 years significantly.
Yep.
So that they can definitely have, basically we're biological androids, and we need to stay quiet because you could cause a lot of damage to the structures in place if you were allowed to think for yourself. That's what this list is about too.
Going back to what you were saying, Thor, about people being able to their appliances listening to them.
Capabilities there. Yeah.
And that's a real thing, because it was what was it? Samsung or somebody not long ago got busted for spying on people. Their TV was listening in on conversations.
I was going to ask. So Ryan, you used to do like network security and stuff back in the day, right? Did you ever go to a hacker convention, like Black Hat or TourCon or something like that?
Mostly white hot stuff. The Canadian Security Conference annually. We could go to that one, and we also had a Canadian Forces cyber initiative where they took like the top 5% of people that were in the military that had potential, and they brought us in the room with a bunch of companies. I'm trying to remember the names of it, but I'm kind of scared because here's the thing. I mentioned once on a Reddit post one of the company's names, and then they called my work the next day. It's like, how the fuck did you attach all this shit together? So they kind of scare me.
Your audio's messed up again, but
is it still? Damn it!
I understood what you're saying.
Did you miss all of it? Okay, good.
No, I got the gist of it. But it's funny. I've been to a couple of TourCons in San Diego, and those are fun, man. Like sometimes you'll get actual FBI guys in there showing you like what they do. Like they did one at Black Hat like years ago on how they'll break into someone's Wi-Fi. Like they did a demonstration on how the FBI breaks into your Wi-Fi. It's actually pretty easy. It's not that well. I mean, especially old WEP. Old WEP was so easy to break.
Oh yeah,
it was so easy to break. But then you'll have guys that sort of are like a part of government watchdog groups, and they'll come in and show you the capabilities that the government has. Like, so these these white hat hackers are like, guys, look, this is what they're doing. And they'll show you like how to break into systems. They do these games of like capture the flag where you have to break into networks and stuff like that. It's fascinating how just these guys that aren't even government employees can do all this stuff, and that the government has guys that can do the same thing, the same skill set, or they're actually hiring these guys. So it's like they have shown in stuff like in like Black Hat conferences and stuff like that the government can sit in a van outside your house and activate your fridge and listen on you if they want to. Like they can do
it through your smart meter now. They don't have to sit out front.
They can do it through your cell phone.
Yep. Absolutely.
There was a guy at one of the conferences that showed how you can basically hack into someone's Bluetooth and listen to their Bluetooth headsets and stuff, right? Like the government's doing the same thing, So
they had those Stingray towers. The cops were driving around.
Oh yeah,
hacking into foes a while ago. That was something else that just kind of disappeared. People stopped talking about it. Stopped being covered. I don't think it was stopped being used. The technology's probably only gotten better.
So that list is a pretense to generate probable cause. If you're big enough, have enough bank account that you're not politically connected and you're irritating the wrong politics, we might be able to come in, use that as a pretense, and we can seize your assets, much like China does with their social scoring system. Mm-hmm. You get too far out of line, and they lock the banks. They
scare the crap out of people, just like with the J6 stuff.
And it scares the shit out of everybody.
It's like if you go back to the Prohibition days, right? They couldn't get Al Capone on any of the actual criminal activity he was doing, so they went after his taxes, right? With this stuff, they're literally gathering information on everybody. So if they want to, they can backdate warrants and grab data that they need to build a case against you for literally anything. If you piss them off, and look at what they're doing to Trump, whether you like him or hate him. Like that should scare the shit out of you that the government has that much power to do that to anybody that they don't like politically. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So we've got several super chats here. Let's go through
Dying
some of these.
grasps of air.
All right, we got Sam Whiskey here with a $4.99 super chat. Let's give you this one. RPT is the new smart grid. A spying tool.
Well, there is a capability. Let's say there's a capability built into it, but the smart grid in and of itself is actually it's on whole a good thing because it does improve the infrastructure, and with a bunch of basically skilled craftsmen leaving the field in the next 10 years, it's automating a large portion of it. Of course, with that does come a lot of data capabilities, which could certainly be used to spy on customers and others.
There you go. We have Wandering Warrior with another $5 super chat. He gets a Who's the Master?
Look at that.
Who's the master?
The Soros Schwab globalists despise toxic masculinity. If you think strong men are dangerous, just wait until you see what weak men are capable of. Yeah. And I think that's sort of the gist, according to the news article, about why they're putting all this stuff on Watchlist, right? Because you have these incel guys that are actually shooting up places, that's what weak men do.
It's interesting. If you really want to expand it, I got this for John. You really want to expand it. Weak men typically sometimes have hormonal imbalances. And over the last 50 years, testosterone has sank both in men and women. Don't fall into the myth that it doesn't affect women and that estrogen doesn't affect men. They're both super important. And it's collapsed, from whatever sources it's collapsing. Mm-hmm. When people, and particularly men and women, when they lose their testosterone to a certain point, they lash out. They actually do become far more aggressive. It sounds kind of like a contradiction, like, well, I have too much testosterone and I'm going crazy. But typically when you have too much testosterone, you get an overproduction of estrogen, dihydrotestosterone that really ramps it up. But when you have a collapse of testosterone, a similar things happens that affects your emotions and your mentality. Think of those ladies that get super depressed after menopause and kind of get suicidal. Now add that to someone that has been very frustrated for a long time with their life and lashes out. Interesting. It's just something I want to throw out there, as
there's something interesting. You said something interesting.
We may be manipulated at our biological level right now.
So you said something earlier about IQ levels. I talked about this with my girl yesterday, how they've been dropping like a lot since the last 40 years or so. We have testosterone levels dropping, we have IQ dropping, and we have mental health issues on the rise. Something's broken. Like the education systems, the mental health institutions, they're broken. Something's wrong. You can't have this much failure and still think things are operating correctly. So like the people saying, oh, well, you need to go counseling. Why? Look how many screwed up people there are, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better. People aren't getting more healthy. There aren't people who are more mentally stable and capable. It's less. It's getting worse. So at what point do people actually wake up and realize, hey, these things that we believed in aren't working? Like, look at the results.
Well, it's going to happen, and they're going to offer
the
solutions.
ideology is like, oh, well, it sounds good, so it has to be good. And no matter what the results are, they keep just pushing it forward. Well, you're not trying hard enough. That's the reason. You're the reason why it's not working. No, I think maybe your methods are broken.
So here, I'll make a prediction because they are going to notice. People are noticing. And the prediction is going to come across everywhere, and it'll be in the next 5 to 10 years, is universal basic income is the solution. Watch and see.
They've been pushing that for a couple of years now. Yeah.
The foundations have been laid.
Yeah. Socialism, baby. All right. We got another super chat. Wandering Warrior sent another super chat. He gets
I was just going to say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
The functional spurgs are running amok in the federal law enforcement and intelligence agencies. Yes, they are.
The hiring practices are interesting these days, for sure. They're politically motivated, and they have been for a long time.
I've had this on my mind too for a little bit, and I got to bring it up. But I watched the Boston Marathon bombing documentary. It's like a 3-part thing. It's up on Netflix. Go watch that. Everybody who thinks that you would never stand a chance against the government.
Oh,
Like you would never be able to, if the people would never be able to rise up against the government. What are you going to do with your little guns against their jets?
I
You
just had this
two
conversation.
children, two like a 19-year-old and a 20-something, young men with no training, no real education, like had failed at everything else in their life. They were able to shut a city down for days, right? With
With
two
a pressure
handguns,
cooker.
2 handguns and pressure cooker and pipe bombs.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that if you had an army of 50 guys who were trained and knew how to do shit, like that wouldn't really screw things up? Like such a drop in the bucket. The whole city shut down.
One thing that I like to point out to people, because I just I go running. One of my neighbors, I go running with her a lot. She's total liberal, and we got in a conversation with about guns, and one of the things that she was saying was like, hey, look, you know, you want to keep your guns to defend yourself against the government. Well, the government's got like much better guns. They got tanks and all this stuff. And I go, look, all you have to do is look at Vietnam. All you have to look at is Afghanistan. All you have to look at is Iraq. Like
Boston Marathon. You look at
Right.
Northern Ireland?
Ridge. Look at Waco. Like look how terribly bad they fucked those things up. They're not as capable as you think they are. And
yeah,
we're neighbors, right? Tell her, hey, we're neighbors. If they come after me to drop a bomb on me with an M15, what's going to happen to you?
Yeah,
Right.
the network is the best way to defend yourself for sure. You know, what's really interesting though is look at a lot of guys, especially in the space that's on that list, think they can defend themselves against the government and all of those sorts of things. Here's the reality, and you can see this, is anybody who makes enough noise, what happens is you can be an upstanding citizen, you can do all that stuff, and what your family and friends read is that you had a meth lab and your house burned down, and that's the end of you. That's the ultimate. And there's no recourse back. So they have ways if you do push hard enough.
My point though was about Afghanistan and stuff like that is guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare is very effective against larger forces. You know, there's a reason why we were entrenched in Afghanistan for 20 years or whatever. It's because we couldn't get a hold of, you know, we couldn't get a handle on the guerrillas, you know. And so that's what a civil war would look like in the United States. It would be guerrilla warfare against.
And it'd be ugly too. That's just not.
You also, and
they'd be fighting in the backyard. It would be bad. Yeah.
The idea that 100% of the troops and police would be in favor of what the government was doing, I don't 100% believe that either.
Certainly not in my area. The sheriffs have already gone on record,
sure,
you know, saying that they're not going to enforce any of the new gun laws that they're proposing here in Colorado. Let's get another super chat here. We've got another one from Wandering Warrior, my man today. Thank you, brother. He says Stacy's okay, but Stacy's mom really has it going on. Let's see here. We've got Thomas V. Let's see. We're gonna give this guy.
I was just gonna say it. This guy fucks. Am I right?
So what percentage of those FBI terms were even defined correctly?
Exactly.
Well, it's not about defining them correctly. It's about stigmatizing them.
It's getting the list form. That's what's
ugly
important.
and dirty as possible and scary as possible.
You got to get the list form. Once that's accepted, you can add away.
Look, it's about scaring the normies, guys. The blue pill normies. I'm looking at the list right now.
Yeah.
It's about
Well, you're not
the
wrong.
normies up in their face.
General deterrent. That's been a legal precedent for 1,000 years, so it's nothing new. Am I still choppy?
Yeah, you're still choppy. Sorry, man. Mr. Napier.
Hello, fellow red pillars. How do you do? Whammon, am I right?
Yeah, look at that hair. That speaks whammon. Man, you got a mop. That looks good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're really trying to go for that rock star look. I've been seeing your posts lately.
I have been having that look for years, but it was more of a I don't care look, and now I'm more into the okay. How can I actually put a little bit more effort into it that it looks presentable?
Would you say that you're looks maxing?
Do I need to? I mean, come on. What more is there to max here? Come on.
Who's not looks maxing? Come on.
You're already at maximum looks.
Yeah, I mean, my looks max level is over 9,000. Let's be honest here.
So Jack, you're joining a little bit late, but did you get a chance to read the article about the new FBI list and the words?
No, but I mean, there are people in Congress who they work for who should be on a most wanted list, so I don't take them too seriously, in all honesty.
Oh, okay. Did you know you're not allowed to say looks maxing anymore? So
Oh, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that will save us a whole lot of trouble then.
You're not allowed to say things like Chad.
Oh,
Can't say
wow.
Chad or
It
Stacy.
sucks if your name's Chad.
But what about Ryan's cave analogy? You can't say that anymore. It's like Cave Chad.
No, Cave's still on.
Stacy.
I'm
Yeah,
skirting
Cave's
the line.
not on the list. Yeah, you can change the name though, Ryan. You got.
She belongs to the cave streets.
The Cave Chad.
Yeah, we've been just to catch you up here, Jack. I don't know if you've caught any of this, but we're going full robot dog. We were talking about like NSA government surveillance, how the FBI have direct access to the NSA's data mining, and how they can build a case against you if they
Off
want
the dating
to.
apps.
Yeah, off your dating apps, Jack.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Well then, this might be our last show together.
But the books that should be on the list, right? Books that actually talk about Red Pill aren't really on the watch list. Books like Mein Kampf are, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
I mean, I know these days some women in London is being portrayed as a red pillar who might be into that, but we don't associate with that here now, do we?
Are we getting at the Mein Kampf Redhead edition?
Oh God, no.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Speaking of embarrassing the profession.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, come on. Why would you invite Fuentes and be like, "Oh, I didn't know what he was about"? It was like,
She
"Oh,
brought him
I'm
on
so-"
again.
Yeah.
Did you see
But,
that?
yeah, maybe she can change him. 6 million is a lot.
She can fix. She can fix.
Anything
Him.
for the clicks.
She can fix him. She's like, I didn't know who he was, and then brought him on again. Like, yeah, you do. You know exactly.
to
what
find
he
out.
was.
Well,
That was the final.
there's always the possibility that she's actually a government plant and
Possibly
It'd be
influence.
hotter
give
than-
a platform to certain people because they need a new racist guy to push and associate to other people during the election cycle coming up.
Sure.
It's always got to be somebody. There was David Duke years ago, and then the Spencer, what's his name was,
Richard Spencer.
Richard Spencer recently, and then he's gone away, and now they got to get this Fuentes guy out there, and then they can associate him with other people they gotta bring down.
That's all a part of it because it's a possibility. They fund a lot of things through foundations, 501c3s, corporations, and that gives them that plausible deniability. They absolutely do it. It's been proven over and over again, and it's quite useful. And even sometimes the spokesmen aren't even aware that that's come their way. They just think they're popular, and that makes them really useful.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing too. I try to get across to my kids all the time. It's like, well, this guy's really popular on YouTube. I was like, those numbers are all fake.
You have to have the bad guy if you want to get paid.
They push certain platforms or certain people forward because of the message that they're pushing. They want that out there in front. And there's a lot of the red pill creators out there, they're making money, whatever, good for them. But at the same time, it's like they're not solving any problems. They're not actually helping anybody. They're just pointing fingers and making fun.
Now, the guys that really matter won't ever achieve that level of popularity that some that will.
People don't want to be helped. They want to be in their fields. We got another one here. This guy. Thanks, brother. You give me tons of these today. You
I was
get
just
another
gonna say,
one.
this guy fucks.
Hey,
Am I
the
right?
Live in a box, eat the bugs. It's Blade Runner. It's Blade Runner 2049. AI girlfriends and robot sex workers for sedation. Hell yeah. Sign me up.
I'd rather have
Are they
the real
hot?
thing.
What's that, Jack?
I'd rather have the real thing, like having them dance on stage and shit like that. It's like, what the hell? I
Yeah,
never
but if
saw
it
that.
works, right?
Yeah.
Where is
Oh.
the man, by the way? Where is Rolo? Speaking of the 80s in the rock star scene.
He worked.
He's getting ready for
he
Gary, if
couldn't
I'm
make it today.
not mistaken.
Oh,
He
dear.
said he was traveling today or something. Yeah.
Oh, my. Oh dear. What a coinky dink. We are talking
He's
about the
doing some
Fed and
red
Rolo
pill
is not
terrorist
here.
stuff. He's
Hmm.
recruiting.
Now I ain't saying. Just saying.
You ain't saying, you're just
That's what we
saying.
need to do, guys. We need to put together a red pill boot camp. And we can
And
take
then what?
recruitment videos like Al Qaeda did. You know, we can have guys running and jumping over logs and swinging from stuff. We can make them walk up to. We can hire like pretty girls to stand there and they got to walk up to them and say hi and introduce themselves. Like,
Hey, somebody in Brazil tried that once and that didn't end up well.
We
Dude,
can
this
do
training
that.
camp would be hilarious.
We can do that
Hilarious.
at Clary's bunker, you know? Yeah.
The next
that'd be
step
good.
is with this list is to go ahead and create a bunch of unique locations and call it the structured wellness and safety retreats for former incels.
Oh wow.
yeah,
And then they can all go there and have a structured wellness and safety retreat program.
Oh fuck, there's a war
Oh,
joke
wait
in
a
there.
second. I'm reading that
You getting it?
acronym in my head, and that's inappropriate.
That's inappropriate.
Okay. Anyway, we're
What's
talking
the
about
rule zero,
camps again,
everybody?
guys. Education camps, right? We just got to call it the right thing.
Right,
Happy
right.
camps. When you get free dental care, the best attention.
Free dental
provided.
care, you'll be taken care of.
no. Free
The
meals,
testlets shall
all the
be,
bugs you can eat.
placed.
We got another super chat here, another one from Wandering Warrior. Who gets he gets this one? Let's see. You get Ryan. Your hair is looking especially rockstar glorious. When do you think Castro's boy Trudy is going to come after you?
Okay, I don't think I'm that important. I don't want to be that important. Is my audio better or still bad?
No, it's worse.
It's still choppy,
Right.
man. Yeah.
Ah, fuck it.
Probably going to need a reboot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Windows 11, am I right?
Hopefully he reboots and comes back so he can plug his praxeology book. Guys, buy the book.
Yes.
There we go.
It's a
Throw
good
that
one,
out there
man.
for him.
He's
Learn
like
how
doing really well in the
shady
category of what, applied psychology or something like that.
Yeah. Is it number one still?
I think so. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
All right. Well, I think we beat this horse to death. We're at almost an hour and 15 minutes. You guys want to just go around the horn and just like wrap up?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. Well, you showed up. You pulled an Apex mindset and slid in at the end to plug your shit.
I mean, did John have his robot dog talk?
Oh yeah, we went full.
Oh, we've covered the robot dogs, and I just put the robot dog link to some robot dog swag in the
It
chat.
is. I think it's amazing you made a shirt out of that. That is.
You know, I realized like last night when I was going to bed that it was a missed opportunity to not put the robot dog Rule Zero logo on the thumbnail. I was like, I should have done that. That would have been
That'd be
perfect.
good. That'd be good.
All right, let's start with Thor. Let's go around the horn here.
Yeah. So my final thoughts on this is it's here to stay, guys. I mean, the government doesn't extend that kind of power to create lists and spend money on keeping people in line. It never goes away until there's a complete change. So get used to it. Pay attention as far as, being aware of what's going on. There's not much you can do except live your life and live your best life. That's the best way to combat this is not let it get you down. That's for sure. As far as what's coming up for me, guys, come join us on the Dragon Ship. We're going to talk about something that's near and dear to old Ryan's heart. We're going to talk about, she's got a new man and you didn't know. That's because she always had a new man. We're going to talk a little bit about, the backup guys on the Dragon Ship today. And Paul, you're coming over there for that.
Yep.
She's not yours.
It's just your turn.
We're just gonna have some fun with that with Glenn and the crew and Paul. And so you guys can come over there and look at RP Thor and see the Dragon Ship to continue the conversation. And that's about it for right now.
All right, John.
Yo, all right. John Fish Knows Nothing, Sunday nights at 7 on the left coast. There's lots of fights. There's a double hitter of bare knuckle fights. One yesterday was pretty good. There's another one today. And there's UFC and a Bellator. So there's a lot of fights to watch and talk about. I put in the chat a link to some robot dog shirt swag. Check that out. Be ready for when the dogs come knocking for your papers. And then
Who let the dogs out?
I've got courses on Gumroad. I put that link in the chat too. Fitness, martial arts, self-defense. The big one is the self-defense. It's in the little screen thing right there, over up there. That's the most recent one. That is the one that's going to keep you from getting your ass kicked. It's no fancy bull crap. You're not there to submit people or knock them out. You're there to be safe and get away. I cut through all the bull crap, give you some basic things that will give you a strong foundation and make you capable of keeping people away from you, give you some more confidence, help you be more aware of what's going on around you, and hold your head a little bit higher, because you'll actually know how to deal with people. When you grab a hold of somebody who has no idea how to grapple, and they're like children. It's like grabbing a child and moving them around. I don't care how big they are. When you take somebody who has no experience with grappling and you have a little bit, you're a superhero. You're superhuman to them. So download that, get that, learn something. It'll be worth it.
I'll vouch for it. That's a good program, John.
All right, we got Jack.
Hello. So, my channel is in the chat. I am 75 people away from 3,000, which
Nice.
I would find a very cool number. So if you be so kind to go to my channel, subscribe. There's a lot of free fitness advice there. There's a lot of Red Pill Book interviews there. There is my flagship podcast called Red Evening, where Rob says, just two guys, one in his 50s, one in his 30s, sharing dating experiences, swapping notes with each other. He gave me a great online dating description even today, where I was like, holy shit, I'm stealing that. But that is on his channel. And also, I want to plug something that I haven't plugged in a while. As you might know, I am also a narrator, and I narrated a couple of books by Troy Francis. And I also did 50 Shades of Gay, which is his experience in the sort of kink lifestyle in London. So if you want to hear me narrate all his adventures in that scene, you can purchase that via the link in the chat. And that is it for me.
Jack, that was 50 Shades of Game, right? Not get 50 Shades of Game.
No, game.
Gay.
Okay,
No,
good.
money.
I was just taking care of old Aaron here for us, you know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know, I still need to narrate something for Aaron, like, you're welcome here and we're inclusive, and, you know.
Yeah.
That we don't hate the boomers and
Those
shit like
Freudian
that.
slips, man.
Nah,
Arian
nah.
Clary.
Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
All right, Ryan. Your audio is still kind of choppy, but here we go.
Substack. Book 3. Follow.
There we go.
ugh.
Good man.
All right, that's pretty much it. I'll wrap up with some actionable information here, guys, and then we'll cut out here. So, actionable information. If you don't want the government snooping on you, use PGP encryption email. Look up that. It's actually pretty easy to use. There's actual news articles that show that the FBI has troubles breaking that. They can't get into terrorist emails that use PGP encryption, so it will work for you too. Use VPNs, use Tor, use snail mail. You know, it's funny, if you send a handwritten letter to someone, they can't look at that. Like, they're not allowed to like go through your mail, but they can go through your emails. So send snail mail or talk to people in person without your phones around. If you're really worried about government surveillance, just name a few things.
If you're not worried about it, make the government so damn uncomfortable that they never want to spy on you again.
There you
Just
go.
do it.
Just be so cringy. That's what I do.
No, make them uncomfortable. Make them so uncomfortable. Where it's like, holy shit, he wants to do what to who?
That's terrible. I don't even want to read that. All right. All right. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. Besides here on YouTube, my podcast is available on all podcast platforms. My guest Monday is Mish, Chat of Arabia. Speaking of government watch lists. Also, join me for live streams here on YouTube every Wednesday and Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And finally, get some Rule Zero merch. Link below or on YouTube. Go to merch.comeonmanpod.com. We have mugs, hoodies, hats, t-shirts. Get 10% off with code EARLYBIRD. And I've also dropped that in the live chat. I think that's it, guys. Anything else?
Thanks, Paul.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Peace out.
Y'all later.
Thanks, Paul.